Welcome everyone to Session 0 of our Deviant the Renegades story, Radiation Burns. This will be our first story in a show devoted to playing stories in Onyx Path games that have been successfully kickstarted and are still available in backer kit for pre-order. We are Vorpal Tales, and we play both terrifying tales and awesome adventures every day of the week for other horror game goodness. Check out our show, Tales of Terror and Damnation, on Sundays. Currently deep in my story, The Lurking Silence in Call of Cthulhu 7th Edition. To be followed soon by a Cthulhu Mythos story in Mage the Ascension 20th Anniversary, White Walls. On Tuesdays, we're currently playing Scion 2E, Masks of the Mythos, now in Kickstarter. And on Thursdays, we have Kimchi's Grimdark Chronicles, currently playing Strange Aeons in the World of Grim Hollow, which will be followed by Werewolf the Apocalypse 20th Anniversary Edition next month. We also have Awesome Adventures, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Check out our calendar for more. To find our calendar and all our social media links, YouTube links for past games, Discord link to hang out with us, and to learn all about us, go to vorpaltales.com. Special thanks tonight to Onyx Path Publishing for all the support they give their players, to Nate Mid for our custom character sheets, and to Astral Tabletop for being our virtual tabletop of choice. Renegades, say hi and let the audience know who you are.
Hello, interwebs. It is I, Dwayne, at Made of Kimchi on the internet, and tonight I will be playing yet an unknown character.
Hello, folks. I'm JT at Zensomancer all over the web, and I too am playing yet unknown.
Hello, I am Jane. You can find me on Twitter at The Confused Crow. Similar to everyone else, I don't know who my character is.
Hello, I'm Harry, the Salubri Cat, and I also don't know who my character is.
I'm Zachary. I'm Zach Rules on Twitter and pretty much any other social media that you would be looking for me on. And my character is a sweet little angel.
And we will also be joined shortly by Ray, who also does not know what they're playing yet. So let's find that out. Time to dive into character creation for Deviant the Renegades. Welcome to Deviant the Renegades, a game about anger and revenge, about the horror of changing against your will, of your body's betrayal, as it twists and warps away from your humanity. Even those deviants who choose to undergo their transformation didn't really know what to expect. Because of this is a game of sorrow, regret, and escape. It's about the catharsis of retribution, of the comfort of loyalty, of the anger at wrongdoings and the acceptance of what is. The suffering you experience is someone's fault, and that someone should be held accountable. Some heartless assholes lied to you. Some pieces of shit stripped away humanity and divorced you forever from a life free of pain, suffering, or anything approaching normal. Deviant the Renegades is about destroying those who wreck lives, who dare to use people as tools, who sow human misery in their wake. Fuck them and their literal dehumanizing of their victims. Fuck them in their pursuit of power. It's time to make them pay. Deviant the Renegades, like all of this Game Alliance games, are played in the Chronicles of Darkness, which is a game of modern horror. All these chronicles take place in a world recognizably like our own, but less inviting. The world is grayer, the people are colder, and everything is less welcoming. The similarities to the real world are a thin veneer, barely covering the rot beneath the surface. Scratch it away, even for a moment, and you'll see the darkness. Everyone has brushed against the supernatural hiding within that darkness, though few admit it. The chill of the passing ghost, the stranger who appears just in the periphery of your vision. The feeling is someone watching you when you know you're alone. People disappear here without a trace all too frequently. Their loved ones go through the motions of searching for them, but they don't hold out much hope. Few return, and rarer still are those who come back the same as when they left. Humans rarely speak of what they know deep down in their souls must exist in the world. Sometimes, safely behind locked doors, with the windows securely bolted and the lights burning brightly, they hesitantly whisper about what they encountered in the darkness. Few talk about it because they never know who might be listening, taking pleasure in the fear and suffering of others, and the power that brings. Supernatural beings aren't the only ones who seek occult power. Humans pursue it like moths to a flame. Deviants come from these dalliances with things poorly understood and better left alone, while some people are people who wanted to empower themselves more frequently than the victims of another's experimentations. or the unlucky who were simply in the wrong place at the wrong time. Many paths lead to divergence. Progenitors of deviants use sorcerous rituals, experimental surgeries, or exposure to strange or ancient artifacts. They use whatever works and inflict pain, misery, and suffering to discover what does work. Whatever the process, the result is one of the remade who is no longer human. Something that touches on and draws against the darkness in ways that are more than human. Unfortunately, these changes are never seamless. They leave lasting scars. To be one of the remade is to never be free of harassment and pursuit. Every deviant is a valuable resource, a scientific curiosity to study and try to replicate, a tool to achieve someone else's goals, or a weapon to leverage power over others. Unfortunately, remade rarely begin in positions to choose how to spend their lives. Other people desire the power that the transformed possess, and they can and will bring tremendous resources to bear to leash those deviants to their will. Many chafe at this control, refuse to submit, and fight against their chains. These broken refuse to accept the title, break free, and take back control of their lives. Few conspiracies allow their prizes their freedom for long, constantly hunting them and others to satisfy the lust for power. Renegade deviants believe the only true way to freedom is to burn it all down and ensure no one lives to come after them any longer. We like to call this the John Wick method. Divergence. Divergence is what makes you a deviant. Being remade sets you apart from humanity. It's called divergence because the process of transforming a human into a broken may be myriad, but they all have one thing in common. It breaks your soul. And yes, souls are real. And you may not have even believed it or understood that until you became remade. But you sure found out afterwards when it was torn apart and you realized you're no longer a human. Every single deviant has a broken soul. That every deviant has something wrong isn't a metaphor. It's not a poetic reference to some aspect of the human condition. At the core of her being, regardless of coercion, voluntarily acceptance, or victim of circumstance, the broken soul sets her forever apart. Individual remade tend to think of their existence in terms of how it came about. For each of them, this process in time marks the point when they became more and less than human. Genotypal deviants are born into their condition through accident or deliberate intervention from conception to gestation. Epimorphs agreed to undergo the process, volunteers who fell victim to the honeyed words of their progenitors. Autoergics seek out the change. How aware they are of the result is questionable regardless of intent. Exomorphs were victims of someone else's choice. Many of these are the result of progenitors still perfecting the process, or those building uncontrollable and often expendable soldiers for a cause. And lastly, pathological are victims of circumstance, accidents literally in the wrong place at the wrong time. Regardless of origin, the divergence provides some advantage over the rest of humanity. You gain powers and abilities beyond what humans can do or experience. These variations are why these conspiracies expend so much time and energy to recapture and control you. Whether forced or voluntary, a transformed service is power for the conspiracy to achieve its goals. Unfortunately, these variations invariably come with scars and inflict pain and suffering on you, a constant reminder of the price you paid. Though each of you is unique, and few have enough ongoing contact with others of your kind to discover similarities and differences, the conspiracies that made you have studied, enslaved, and classified you for centuries. These divisions are called clades, and they focus on how the remade manifest their powers rather than how they came to be. There are generally 5 main recognized clades. The cephalists, whose minds opened through the divergence to manifest incredible abilities. The chimerics, combining biological material from something other than human to create something incredible. The invasives, often labeled cyborgs, although the powers could come just as often from technological marvels as magical jewels or alien artifacts. And coactives, who directly channel energy as a source of power. And last but not least, mutants. The powers of, mutation. So, for this particular story, if possible, we're going to try to make it so that at least one of every origin and one of every clade is actually represented by these players. The sixth person out, who now gets to volunteer for this job, gets to not be a deviant, but gets to be a regular human, however highly trained, in a killing machine to benefit the story. Before anyone picks anything, though, stand by once again.
Yep.
Because Ray just arrived, so they can jump in on this process. Please stand by. I know most of you are here for the awesome X-Men. So if none of you do want to volunteer to be the super soldier, don't worry. Dwayne will take on that role quite happily, but we'll get to discussing that as soon as Ray gets.
Okay.
That means I just get to play myself.
Essentially true. Okay.
Yes.
I gotta swap Harry and Ray real fast. Harry has returned to us. Okay. So, whilst we wait, those of you who do have some idea of clade that interests you, let's start with Jane. What clade were you looking at? Because I know you had something in mind.
Okay, so what piqued my interest was the... I'm going to butcher these horribly, I'm so sorry. The autoturgic and the cephalus.
Okay.
I like the idea of someone who was looked down upon in their normal life, and so they sought a way to become powerful, become impressive, become someone that people would want to have around, and then using their newfound powers to get revenge on the people who formerly rejected them. Think of it as kind of like one of those high school dramas where the nerdy girl gets everything that she wants, but decides to murder everyone.
I approve. And I know, JT, you had an idea in mind too.
Yeah, I'm particularly interested in invasive.
Okay.
As I want, can I talk about my concept a little bit because of that?
Yeah.
To explain. Yeah, so basically a hacktivist type person, since I always love playing the hacker archetype, that got a little too close to some shady government organization who has decided to black bag my character and implant an AI. So the struggle between control of my character and the AI controlling the character was my concept.
That's good. I like that. And welcome, Ray. We have just gone over a brief idea of what deviants are, so you can say hi to everyone real quick.
Hi, I'm Ray. I use they them pronouns, so I'm in Oregon at the moment. I'm really looking forward to getting to play with y'all.
Yay. Okay, Zach, did you have a concept in mind? I don't remember. I think you said you did.
So the concept I had in mind was vaguely a former biker. So it's something that doesn't have a specific origin or clade that has
Okay.
that specifically needs to go with it.
So you can fit in wherever you need to.
I could fit it in. I would say epimorph, exomorph, or pathologicals would be one of those three would probably fit it best. Chimeric, mutant, probably the two best clades. So I'm flexible with anything within that to fit in so that we can see all 5 of each.
Okay. And Ray, I know you haven't had a lot of time to look at any books. Do you have any concepts in mind, or are we going to develop that as we go?
So I think the clade I'm thinking of that I was really interested in was, if I'm reading it correctly, is the infused. I'm really interested in the idea of somebody who had thought they knew what their life was, and then it was completely destroyed, and now they've been infected by something much larger than themselves.
Okay. And Harry, I saw you were going to speak up when I asked for a volunteer to be the
Yeah, I can
deviant.
volunteer to just be the normal person.
So Dwayne and Harry, you two can have an all-out cage match, shirts off, to see who gets to be the super soldier and who gets to be the deviant.
I mean,
If you want to
Harry-
be, if you want to take it, you can.
Oh no! If you, I mean, I've got concepts going either way.
Okay, I don't have any concepts yet, so I'm
So
fine with whatever. This
So-
is the issue. We have a Canadian standoff.
I know that's what's happening. So,
That's kind
Flip
of
a coin.
They just apologize the entire time.
Yeah.
Flip
No,
a
you should
coin,
have
the
it. No,
best
you
way
should
to
have it.
decide.
Yep. Okay.
actually, yeah.
Are you okay
roll
with that
a
coin flip?
roll a D100, and the higher wins.
Okay. Let's do it. Is there a D100 button on the thing?
I
There
think
is
so.
not.
No. So do a
Not
D10 and add a 0 before you hit enter.
Oh, beat that.
Nope.
Well,
It was close. It was close.
With that roll, I just get to play a normal human that doesn't have any training.
all right.
My name's Bob.
Just the janitor who
off the
got
street.
caught up in some weird shit.
Wrong place, wrong time.
So Dwayne, that means you get to choose.
I will allow Harry to take the awesome super soldier,
Okay.
and I myself was going for an epimorph mutant.
Okay. I think that actually means. What was the other one you said, Zach? Besides mutant,
Chimerics.
Chimeric.
hybrids.
Okay.
So
I don't
yeah,
think we doubled. I think we're okay, but we'll find out when we get to that stage. And if we did, then we'll just might leave one out. So Harry, when we get to the character creation process, have you seen the Resident Evil movies?
I am. I am familiar with them.
You're basically going to be. We're going to have basically turn you into. Crap, what was his name in the movie, Dwayne?
Carlos?
Carlos.
Fun.
Yes.
I'm ready.
Okay, so. Back to Deviants. Now that we did a brief touch on the origins and their deviations, we'll actually go back to the top of character creation and start there now that you have some idea in mind to help formulate the rest of this. We're going to go round robin, so we're going to do one step at a time, and then I'll touch on each of you in the order I see you in Zoom. And then we'll start at the next step and round robin again. So, and then we'll take a midway break too at some point. Threat level. First thing you have to establish in a deviant game is the threat level, because it determines the magnitude of your deviations, which is deviation points you get at character creation. It also determines the magnitude of the threat, because the story I have in mind, the threat is large, therefore so are you. The invasion chart goes from mutation to hyperplasia to dysplasia to invasion to metastasis to metamorphosis. Metamorphosis being God level, and mutation being rookie level. You guys are going to be at invasion. 10 variation dots at creation, plus the free variation you'll get for your origin. Questions on that?
So you said 10?
Yep, you'll get 10 dots. Magnitude 10, which means 10 dots for your variations, not counting the free one that you all start with.
Got it.
Okay. Now, unlike traditional Chronicles of Darkness characters, Deviants don't use Vice and Virtue to regain willpower. You will use your loyalty and your. It's not called rebellion. Use the right words, Tyler.
Conspiracy? No.
I had a character sheet open and then I closed it because I'm a smart person. You will regain willpower using your loyalty and your conviction. Whenever the book references chapter, it means game session, so that's a once per session ability or power. So in the case of conviction and loyalty, in a regular Chronicles of Darkness game, for those unfamiliar, willpower is regained by once per chapter. You can fulfill your virtue and regain all your willpower, or at any time in a scene you can fulfill your vice and regain 1 willpower. For you, Harry, that's how it'll work. For the rest of you, every time you fulfill interaction with a touchstone based on your conviction, you can regain 1 point of willpower. And once per session chapter that you fulfill a touchstone loyalty moment, you get all of it back. So you don't need to pick a vice and virtue, even though it's on the sheet, except for Harry. So we're going to start with you, Harry. I lied. We're going to go out of order.
Okay.
Vice and virtue. You have some in mind?
Vice. Well,
I have a big list if you want.
Well, virtue. Yeah, that could be helpful. But I was thinking for like a virtue, if I'm going to be some highly trained guy, then dedication or like not honor, but like commitment would be one.
Yes. Let's see. Fortitude. I'm going to hit the ones that fit that. Loyalty. Not so much.
Loyalty. Let's do that.
Okay. Also, I'll hit the others just in case. Courage is in here.
Courage.
Precision. Courage might be better than loyalty, yeah. Especially since you're going to be helping these guys going against the companies. What's going to happen? It's probably not loyalty. And then a vice. Some examples in here are obviously the 7 deadly sins, but also they have pessimism, deceit, treachery, cruelty, violence, cowardice, haste, naivete, obsession, territoriality, compulsiveness.
Let's go with, is impulsivity one?
Yes.
Perfect.
I will be right back.
Okay.
Okay. So that's that.
Okay. So now we're gonna for the rest of you, conviction and loyalty will come once we choose your origin. So Dwayne, what is your, let me use the actual correct book term so no one gets confused. Because it's not actually origin, it's your deviation. Are you going to be genotypal, epimorph, autoergic, exomorph? Or the one I didn't say, pathological, yes.
I think, actually, I don't think anyone chose pathological, so maybe I'll go with pathological.
Okay. So, pathological. We'll get you blew right past it.
Looks like I gain 1 scar-free dot of any variation and 1 dot of either loyalty or conviction.
Right, pathological is the one that can choose. So, all deviants start with 3 points of conviction and 1 point of loyalty by default. You can fill those in. Again, that's 3 conviction, 1 loyalty. More rage than loyalty to whoever transformed you. And then you'll get an extra dot in whichever one your deviation tells you. So in Dwayne's case, he's going to pick. Are you more loyal to the people who made you, or more angry? That's basically what it is.
Oh no, I'm angry.
So that would go into conviction then.
Yep.
And then we'll connect touchstones to those at a later stage. Jane, what about you? You wanted to do Cephalus, but which deviation? Were you born that way? Made that way? Autoergic, okay.
Yes.
So you wanted... Oh, that's right. You said your background is you wanted to change, yes. So... Autoergic. Your origin factor is 1 extra dot of loyalty. And when we get to deviations, you will get 1 scar-free dot of an overt variation. We'll pick those later. And we'll explain what scar-free means too, and why scars matter. JT.
I could do epimorph or exomorph for my concept. Either the character was threatened, maybe jail time or sending in a dark cell for the, like CIA black site for the rest of their life, or it just wasn't a choice and it was forced upon them. So I will leave that open if we want to try to get all of these in here, if someone else wants to pick one of those, I will take the other one.
Okay. Zach.
I was the same way as JT.
Okay.
So, I think exomorphs probably fits a little bit better with my concept than epimorphs does, being more a victim of unwillingly instead of following along with or falling into a honeypot type trap where they're offered something and they don't get exactly what they're offered. I think exomorph would work better.
Okay, so you can take exomorph, which will give you, once again, 1 point of scar-free overt variation and 1 extra dot of conviction. And then for you, JT, as the epimorph, we'll get 1 scar-free dot of subtle variation and 1 dot of loyalty. And then we'll jump back to Ray as soon as they have returned. So next thing is to define your concept in a sentence or a few words. So let's start with Dwayne.
Yes. So I am a... Hold on, I like to look at the example so I get the wording right. Yes. Disabled physical trainer.
Okay.
That took a experimental type of what's the word for healing stuff?
Supplement?
No, like I was injured and they had an experimental cure.
Like treatment.
Maybe I had atrophy or something like that, and it was to bring back my muscles.
Okay.
And then that was when the mutation magically occurred.
Jane. Mm-hmm. What is your few word or 1 sentence concept?
Social outcast gets everything they want and gets a little too high off the fumes.
Okay, I like it. JT.
Anti-government hacktivist gets a little too close to shadowy intelligence agency and has AI implanted.
And Zach.
reformed biker.
Short and sweet. Harry, so
Yes.
to give you a little more information, you're going to have actually worked your way up through the ranks of the organization and become a reliable and loyal soldier, but something happened to make you decide, nope.
Okay.
I will explain more about that when we get into the story, but it's going to be a hard line of one bad day, and nope, screw you guys, I'm going to go help these guys.
Got it.
If
Sounds
that helps
good.
you with your concept.
That does. I think that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, with those down, so you can put threat level 3. I believe that's a 3. It's a 3 or a 4. On the sheet, it doesn't affect any mechanics, though. So put 3 is fine. So now you should have your origin, your concept, and for Harry, your virtue and your vice. So now, before we worry about Clade, we're going to jump to attributes. So, for everyone except Harry, standard Chronicles of Darkness attributes. You have to pick. These are vertical, not horizontal. You have to set the categories as either primary, secondary, or tertiary. So that would be intelligence, wits, resolve is 1, strength, dex, and stamina is 2, presence, manipulation, composure is 3. Pick which one is primary of those categories, which is secondary, and which is least. For the primary ones, you get to add to the existing 1 dot they each have. You get to add 5 points total across all 3. The secondary, it's 4 points, and for the tertiary, it's 3 points. For you, Harry, it's 5, 4, and 4.
Okay.
So are we starting like incredibly strong then, having filled out our primary all the way?
No, you get 5 points total for all 3, not each of the 3.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you chose the middle as your primary, strength, dexterity, and stamina, you have to
Divide those
put
5 points.
5 points
All
between
right.
those 3.
Gotcha. Okay.
And they all get 1 for free, as the sheet shows. In the World of Darkness, 2 points is average, and then 1 point is somehow less than average for whatever reason you come up with. And then, of course, 3 points is above average, 4 points is superhuman, and 5 is best in world.
And is that when you roll firearms, for example, that would be a composure firearms or a dex firearms in this?
Correct. Yep. I will have you pick an attribute. I will pick an attribute and have you roll an associated skill with it.
Okay.
Correct. Now, as you can see, they also have horizontal categories that tell you how that attribute is most frequently used. Power for the top 3, finesse for the middle 3, and resistance for the bottom 3.
Okay.
So, like, guns is going to be a finesse of some kind. Punching is going to be power. Getting punched is going to be resistance, etc.
Okay, got it.
So, while you start looking at those, looks like Ray has returned, so we can jump back to Ray.
Yeah, my aunt is making chicken dumplings, and I was helping her do stuff.
Oh no, don't get us started on food. That's all we'll talk about for the whole session.
Homemade chicken and dumplings. One day I'll find. Where is it?
Which one did we?
What, Divergence and Clade?
Yeah, which of the Divergence was it that we still had doing?
Let's see, we already did genotypal.
Genotypal, yes. Okay. Are you okay, Ray, with having been born the way you are?
Sure.
Okay. So once we get your sheet assigned, your origin will be genotypal. Once you join the Astral game, there should be an invite in your email after you sign the sheet.
I just scroll up to find the Astral.
And then while you work that out, Dwayne, how are you assigning your points?
All right. So because he is a physical type guy, I did the middle as my primary. Strength of 3 total, Dex 2, Stamina 3.
Okay.
Being a physical trainer, I did have to go to school, so I did first column as secondary, Intelligence 2, Wits 2, Resolve 3. And then tertiary is Presence, Manipulation, and Composure with 2, 1, and 3.
Okay.
Respectively.
Jane, how are yours playing out?
I have set mine up with manipulation being my highest stat, and then strength being the lowest one. I figured for Queen Bee wannabe, being able to get those to bend to her whim is probably the most important. She has goons to punch other people for her.
Which will come up when we get to, what do you call it? Talents.
Goons.
So I see you got 2 in presence, 4 in manipulation, 2 in composure. Yep.
I went for a fairly balanced build setup.
Looks like you're missing. You got a point left to spend in both of the other 2 categories.
Oh, I do?
Yep,
oh,
5, 4, 3.
I'm sorry.
No problem. It's 5, 4, 3.
There we go.
Okay, Strength 1, Dex 3, Stamina 2, and then we got Intelligence 2, Wits 3, Resolve 2. Okay.
I am here to finesse.
And JT.
All right, as I'm going for a very smart character, so I did primary in the first column, Intelligence 4, and then average of 2 for both Wits and Resolve.
Okay.
The column 3 ended up being my secondary, Presence 2, Manipulation 3. Figure if he's a hacker, then he's really good at social engineering as part of that job.
Yep.
In former life, so Manipulation 3, and then Composure 2. And then I just went down the line on the tertiary and did average in all 3 at 2s.
Okay. Zach.
All right, so what I'm thinking is physical attributes being primary, 2 strength, 3 dexterity, 3 stamina. It's not so much that he's strong; it's that he's tough and able to get out of the way.
Yep.
Social would be the secondary. I've got composure at 3. He's relatively good at keeping his cool. I'm flipping between presence 3 and manipulation 1. He's not really a manipulative person. He's pretty much straightforward and coming off, and he does kind of stand out a bit. And then for mental, just 2 down the line: intelligence, wits, and resolve.
Okay. Then yeah, presence isn't necessarily, for those watching or who may wonder, it's not necessarily D&D charm and persuasion. It says presence, not persuasion, because it could also be that you're just very forceful personality. You don't have to be charming. You can just be, I'm here, do what I say, damn it. But not intimidating.
Yeah, I'm thinking more of, that sort of
force of personality, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And Harry, the odd man out with the extra point. What did you do?
So I did 2 intelligence, 3 strength, 2 presence, 2 wits, 4 dexterity, 2 manipulation, 2 resolve, 3 stamina, 2 composure.
Perfect. Okay, and Ray, did you find that invitation in your email?
Give me just a second. Astral would like to pretend I didn't remember my password. There we go. Go. Notifications. Join the party. I've joined.
Okay. Yep, there you are. I've assigned your sheet, so when you actually enter the game, you will be able to see it on the left under your character sheets, and you can fill it out.
Right. Excellent.
So let me know once you get in there, and then we'll get you caught up to them. Nope, there it is. I see you logged in. Okay.
I'm having a lot easier time navigating this so far than I do Roll20. Left to the left.
We used Roll20 for a long time. It does have its strong suits, but we definitely prefer this now. At least at our show. Spend a lot of money on modules in Roll20, though. They're still there. So many 5e campaigns.
And you said it was to the left?
On the left side, you should see some tabs. One of them is the character sheet tab. Also, in the middle of the screen, you'll see a background picture. You may have to zoom out and or in. And then you'll see your first name. That's your sheet. Either way you want to open it. What does it look like for the players on the left, guys? My view is different.
For me,
For players, they don't
I
have a
found
left-hand side.
Oh,
trick if you just hit space button, it'll open to let you edit your character.
Correct.
so just hit the space bar. Nice. There. Let's do that right. Hit the space bar. It should pop up.
Right.
And then you won't need Vice and Virtue. You will need to try to get your concept into a sentence so it's easier for you to digest. That's mostly for you, not me. And then your origin is, back to the words again, genotypal. We have not done clades yet.
But they did say that they had an idea on it, though.
Yes. And your threat level is 3. And then I'll fill in the Chronicle name before next Friday or before next week. Well, you can just put Radiation Burns too. That works. That's for all of you. And then for you guys that are done with your attributes, while I work with Ray to set theirs, you can move on to start thinking about your skills. The skills will once again be 3 categories: mental, physical, social. Primary category will get 11 points. Secondary will get 7. And last will get 5. No free points in these. Except for you, Harry. As the guy with no superpowers, you get 13, 9, 5.
1395, got it.
Classic World of Darkness for you, yep.
I'm sorry, could you repeat the numbers again? I was murdering a bug that got on my notepad.
No problem. It's 11 for primary, 7 for secondary, and 5 for last.
All right, thank you very much.
For these, you'll notice it says untrained and it's got a penalty written. That's if you have no dots in the skill and you roll the skill, you'll lose dice from your pool equal to the untrained penalty. It's much worse for mental than anything else. It's harder to make a biology roll untrained than it is a punch roll. However, unlike attributes, 1 dot doesn't mean you're subpar. 1 dot means you know about the thing. Also, don't assume no dots means you can't do the thing. An example of this is drive. In a chase scene, I'm going to make you roll drive. But if you're just driving the car and it's not under pressure, no one needs to roll dice for that. You all can roll drive in a modern world. I mean, you all can drive without a roll in the modern world. So, like computer use, in character surfing Facebook, no computer dots required. Deep dive of Google to find background information on someone without paying someone to look it up for you, that's a roll. So dots actually represent skilled use, not general knowledge of the thing.
We can only go 4, right?
At this stage, you can only go to 3. Thank you for reminding me.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's right, because our threat level is 3.
Correct. And then when your freebie points at the end, and or XP, you can always go a little higher, but 3 at this stage. I am allowing each of you to have any one skill at 4 or 5 at creation, even all the way to 5 at character creation, but only the one. So like the one thing that's really the core of your concept, you can go above 3. Now, for you, Ray, for attributes, you see how it's divided into categories, both horizontally and vertically? We're going vertically here, not horizontal, which means intelligence, wits, resolve is a category, strength, dex, stamina is a category, presence, manipulation, composure is a category. You got to pick each category to be primary, secondary, and tertiary. Primary category gets to add 5 points total across the 3 attributes. Secondary category gets to add 4 points, and least category gets to add 3 points. The included dot already filled in is free.
That one more time? Last bit?
The included dot you can see that's already filled in on your sheet, those are free. Those do not count against the points I just gave you.
Okay. So it's intelligence.
Intelligence, wits, and resolve is one category.
Okay.
Strength, dex, stamina is the second category. Presence,
it's-
manipulation, composure is the third category. You pick which of those 3 in order matters more to you.
All right.
And then it's not 5 points per attribute, it's 5 points for the whole category. For all 3, you have to divide them
So
among the
it's-
3.
So it's 3, 2, 1.
Correct.
Right. All right.
And then the points you get to spend are 5, 4, and 3. Which, for instance, for example, if strength, dex, and stamina was your most important, you could have a strength of 3, a dex of 2, and a stamina of 3. That would be 5 points spent. Or you could do strength of 4, dex of 2, stamina of 2, for instance, or stamina of 1, for instance, if it was your secondary. However, you can get to those 5, 4, 3 numbers.
So I feel like for her, solve.
You can see that they also have them separated horizontally. So like the bottom 3, resolve, stamina, composure, are resistance attributes. They're used when you're resisting a thing. And then power is when you're brute forcing, and finesse is when you're delicately getting through a thing, if that affects. So like dexterity would be used to shoot guns, strength would be used to punch, stamina is used to get punched. And then whenever you're rolling dice in the game, I'm going to have you build a dice pool that at its base is going to be an attribute plus a skill, plus potentially other modifiers. And you roll a bunch of d10s, and any that equal or exceed the target number succeed. So, Dwayne, how are your skills playing out so far?
All right, so to make it easiest for me, I just matched my primary, secondary, and tertiary. So primary was physical. I got 4 dots in athletics, 3 in brawl, 1 in drive, 1 in firearms, 1 in stealth, and 1 in survival. Mental was my secondary, so I got 3 in academics, 1 in computer, 2 in medicine, and 1 in science.
Okay.
And social. What? Oh,
I just said
being,
okay.
social being my last. Empathy 1, expression 1, socialize 2, and streetwise 1.
Perfect.
And I need to pick I have to pick 3 specializations.
Yeah. I'll touch on that for everyone in a second. Okay. So, Ray, I can actually see you interact with your sheet. That is 1 point too many in the first category, but you're close.
Okay. All right. 1 point too many? All
Yeah,
right.
because it's 5 for the primary, and that's 6 spent.
Okay. I see. Boom.
Nailed it.
Okay.
Perfect. And then 4 for secondary.
1.
Ray has chosen intelligence of 3, wits of 2, and resolve of 3. Brains first. And then, Jane, why don't you give us your skills if you've got them lined up?
All right. My social, imitation, persuasion, and socialize are all at 3. Empathy and subterfuge are at 2. I'm currently... Oh, I just finished mental skills. I've got 2 in academics, 2 in investigation, and 3 in medicine. And
Nice.
now I'm moving on to physical. A lot of things are definitely going to be put into stealth. Probably not a lot of capabilities to hitting things. You know, wouldn't want to break a nail.
Precisely. Especially when you can make anyone be your minion, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And JT.
All right, so I went with mental again. Computers 5. Let's go.
Let's do it.
Academics 2. Investigation 1. Occult 1. I haven't figured out why, but it sounds fun. We'll figure that out later. And politics 2. Secondary was social. Persuasion 2. Socialize 1. Streetwise 2. Subterfuge 2. And then for my physical, we've got drive 1, firearms 2, and larceny 2.
Okay. Zach.
All right. So I'm still. So mental is going to be the third one. I've got 3 dots assigned so far, 2 into crafts. Specialization is going to be in auto repair. On that, I haven't decided if it's going to be 3 points in that or if I want to put the 3rd point somewhere else. 1 dot in medicine.
Okay.
That's just going to be, he's been around and he's learned how to, patch up, how to deal with kind of basic first stage stuff from having to try different things to do, practice first aid. Not that he was actually trained in anything.
Okay.
Right. And I'm trying to fight with the Astral because it's showing the dice roll things covering up the social boxes. And I honestly haven't been able to figure out how to get rid of those.
Oh, you could pop out the character sheet. It's probably the easiest way. Next to the X to close it is like a button with an arrow pointing to the upper right. That'll pop it out of your browser and you can move it around your screen.
Okay.
Which is real handy. You can pop out the chat too if you prefer. Either way.
Yeah. the boxes to roll dice are still showing up and blocking things like Streetwise, which is something that he would have dots in.
Oh, try double clicking on the sheet and you should zoom in. Like anywhere on the sheet.
Let's see if that works.
Should zoom in enough to where you can...
Yeah, while you're in zoomed in mode 2, you can grab the pull to pull the sheet to the left. It'll pull it out of there.
Yeah, so social's probably going to be secondary.
Okay.
So was 8 dots for secondary, right?
7, 11, 7, 5.
7. All right. So 2 dots in intimidation, 2 dots in streetwise, a dot in empathy, animal kin, and persuasion, maybe.
Okay. And Ray, I see you chose social as your secondary. It's presence 2, manipulation 2, composure 3. And then for your physical, you've got one more dot you can add.
Yeah, okay. I thought I did, but I didn't do it yet, just to make sure.
Okay. Yep, you can average them all or put 3 in something to be weaker in strength. For reference, in this game, 2 is average, 1 is below average for any number of reasons.
I feel like for this character, she's physically, she's more endurance than she is like strength-wise. Like she
runs, but she doesn't lift weights, right?
Yeah, like, it's like she can outrun you, but if you catch her.
Yeah, in that case, you'd put 3 in stamina.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. And Harry, the man who gets to cheat a little, what did you do with your skills?
So for my skills, I did my 13 in physical with 5 in firearms, 1 in larceny, 2 in stealth, 2 in weaponry, 3 in brawl, and 1 in athletics. I put my 9 in social. I did 3 in intimidation, 3 in streetwise, and 3 in subterfuge. And then I put 5 in mental, 2 in computers, 3 in investigation.
Perfect. Okay. Ray, for the skills, again, primary, secondary, tertiary for the categories, mental, physical, social, in whatever order you want. Points for primary are 11. Points for secondary are 7. And points for last are 5.
Oh, my computer's doing something funky.
And then for the rest of you, you can pick 3 specializations. Specializations must go in a skill that has points in it, but there's no minimum points like there is at 20th anniversary. A specialization is just a word. Pick the word. And when it comes up, default rules are you roll 9 again. Sometimes I just give you a bonus die. It depends. You either get a bonus die or you get to explode on 9 again instead of just 10s. For those who don't know, Chronicles of Darkness, when you roll a 10, the sheet will re-roll the dice until it stops rolling 10s. In Chronicles of Darkness, unlike World of Darkness, for those coming from World, target number doesn't fluctuate. It's always 8. Dice pool fluctuates to represent bonuses and penalties. You get more dice, you get less dice. If you get 1 success, you've succeeded. If you get 5 successes, you've critically succeeded. 1, 2, 3, and 4 is all the same thing. If you get no successes, but no 1s, you failed. If you get no successes and at least 1 1, you critically fail, and then bad things happen, but you get a little XP. You can also choose to turn a regular fail into a critical fail to get that XP. This is a game system where if you make it hard on yourself, you get rewarded.
So I think I feel...
I'll give you a moment to start setting up your specializations, and then for Ray to start picking skill.
Okay, so it's
11 points for your most important category.
all right.
7 points for middle category. 5 points for least category.
Right. $11, 7, and
5.
5.
5. Excellent.
Wait, it's 5?
Yeah.
I think it's 11, 7, and 4.
Yeah, it's 4 by the book, but I always do 5 for the least on the
Oh.
shorter stories. You guys will always
I
get a
have
little
another-
bit of boost in the shorter ones because it's not fun. It's not fun. You're not doing a whole chronicle, you might as well get some cool stuff early, right?
Excuse me, where can I find the information on specialties in the...
Probably not going to have them in the Deviant book, but they would in the core Chronicles of Darkness book. However, there's websites that have that too.
Yeah. It's in Chapter 4, Storytelling
lied.
System. I don't have the manuscript up, but will list under each. It gives a description, and it's sample action,
thank you
sample
very much.
contacts, suggested equipment.
I also have this handy thing I'm going to throw in the Discord room. Oh, yep. Dwayne's way ahead of me. The Codex
Yeah.
of Darkness is a fantastic website. And you can make up your own too. These are examples. You don't have to use the written ones. But they give you an idea of what you're doing, what the point of it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I was going to choose as my academics early childhood education, but then I decided not to. Because I don't think that's ever
That's
come up.
not going to come up in this story now. Yeah, there won't be any interactions with kids in this, unless it's in passing.
A small child. I could have been your teacher. And that was once upon a time. Good day, child.
I did reference Resident Evil, but no, your archenemy is not going to be a child AI that's going to tell you, you're all going to die down here.
I mean, I figured small child. I think. I'm going to go with... So what is expression?
Expression is the ability to get your point across, so the person understands. So, like, you could intimidate or persuade, but they wouldn't necessarily understand all the words you're using. Expression means they fully understand what you're trying to convey.
I'm using big, scary words, but you know those big, scary words.
It's also a little bit of how you emote and them being able to read your reaction to a thing, stuff like that.
All right.
For me, basically, if I'm having you convince someone of something, I'm going to ask you to roll subterfuge to lie, expression to get your point across, persuasion to be charming, or forceful and intimidation to be scary. It'll be one of those 4 I'll ask for.
All right.
And also for me, in the social category, empathy doubles as insight. You want to read a person, I'm going to have you roll empathy or subterfuge, sometimes both. Subterfuge will help you spot a liar. Subterfuge won't help you figure out why that character's crying. Need empathy for that.
Yeah. That is very true. I feel like this character, right?
God, somebody's cooking chicken adobo now.
No, Dwayne. No food porn.
Chicken and dumplings here.
It is so amazing how I can smell like what everyone around me It's cooking.
It is kind of amazing and terrifying. Did you get your specialties picked?
I believe I have.
Oh, sorry for Dwayne.
Oh yes, I did.
What'd you pick?
So I went with sports medicine and medicine.
Okay.
I took parkour in athletics
Okay.
and martial arts and brawl.
Perfect. Jane.
I chose seduction for persuasion, formal events for socialize, and veiled threats for intimidation.
I like it. JT.
I went with 2 for computers, both hacking and security, so it can be offensive and defensive. And then I took black market for streetwise because I think there's mechanics for addiction that I will choose later because I'm going to make that part of my character.
There are, in fact. And JT brings up a good point that I didn't mention. There's no requirement to have all 3 of your specializations be on different skills. You could stack them all on one if you wanted to. It's completely up to the player. But you only get the 3. And Zach, did you pick yours?
So I went with automotive repair for crafts,
That'll be useful.
motorcycle for drive, and gangs for streetwise.
Perfect. And Harry.
So I did long guns for firearms. I did Krav Maga for brawl, and I did hacking for computers.
Perfect. And whilst Ray finishes putting in points, you guys, now that you've finished your specializations, this is when we would normally begin working on divergence. So we'll start slow, and we'll start with your we'll start with the fact that your origin automatically gives you... So, okay, back up. When you pick your divergences, you have 10 points to spend. However, at least half of those points, meaning 5, must be in the universal category or your clade-specific category. Which means now we had to pick clades. So back up around to Dwayne. What was the clade you were looking at?
I went with mutant.
And Jane?
Cephalus.
And JT?
Invasive.
And Zach?
Chimerics.
And which one did that leave?
Phenotype.
Coactives.
Coactive. Which is the one you were interested in, Ray? Coactive's the one that channels energy, like radiation or
Yeah.
evil. That's perfect. That worked out perfectly.
Yeah, in the description it uses 2. It says coactives, and then it says the infused.
Ah, yes, that's where that came from. Okay. So yes, you can mark that down as your clades for all of you now. So that way you know when you start picking deviations, you can pick half the points from Universal and your clade specialty. Which are... to the book. Okay. Also, at this stage, now that you've all picked a clade, you all get adaptations, 2 from your clade, and then everybody gets stubborn resolve. All deviants get that. For you, Harry, don't worry about adaptations, obviously. So, we'll do the adaptations since we're there for the cephalist. Jane. Your adaptations are stubborn resolve, focus, and iron will.
So would we put adaptations under or scars or variations?
We forgot to put a spot for that. So, you can either add them at the bottom of your touchstones, or if you all look at your character sheet, you'll see there's a button for character notes on the left. It's going to open up a whole new page where you can type in anything you want, any way you want.
All right.
Okay. And for the Chimeric, you get Stubborn Resolve and also Untamed and Adrenaline Surge. For the Infused, you get, so this is for Ray, I'll interrupt your skills for a second, sorry. You get Stubborn Resolve, Consume, and Living Conduit. For the Cyborg, for the Invasive, JT gets Stubborn Resolve, Redundancy, and Overclock. And for the Mutant, you get Stubborn Resolve, Unpredictable, and Forced Growth. Now, adaptations can really be boiled down to a simple concept. Everybody's got 3 different ways to power up your divergences. That's what they do. Some are usable once per scene, some are usable once per chapter, which is a session, once per session. And you can some of them have a side effect, some lesser, some greater. Some of them you got to hurt yourself or push yourself too far or whatever, but they let you overpower basically. And or they let you not activate your scars sometimes too, because scars are tied to divergences. You can't have the superpower without the superpower side effect.
Tyler, what was my second one again?
Which were you again?
You said Forced Growth, Stubborn Resolve, and...
Yeah, here's the Mutant. Forced Growth and Unpredictable. And then on page 36 of the manuscript, you'll see your specific adaptations and how they work. Some of you will notice some of yours talk about allowing you to spend willpower. Willpower works differently in Chronicles than in World of Darkness. In World of Darkness, a willpower point's just a free success. In Chronicles of Darkness, a willpower point gives you 3 bonus dice, but no guaranteed success.
Do we get all 3 of these, or
Yes.
do we only get to pick 2?
No, you get all 3.
Okay.
And where do we put them on our character sheet?
My brother and I forgot to put a spot in, so on the left of the sheet where it says character notes, if you click that, it's going to open a new page where you can type anything you want. It's really handy. So like if you see your name and where the picture would go if you had one, underneath of that, down towards the bottom is the character notes button. And I'm going to read out Ray's skills, since I can see them while you guys do that. Ray went with Mental Primary, with Academics 3, Computers 1, Crafts 3, Investigation 1, Occult 2, and Politics 1. Social is Secondary, with Empathy 2, Expression 2, Streetwise 2, Subterfuge 1, and a Point to Spend still. And for Physical, Released, with Athletics 1, Larceny 1, Stealth 1, and Survival 2. Larceny will be useful.
I may be blind with on the left.
Oh, I can show you. Get you a screenshot. Hold on.
It's like, I'm looking for that snake to bite me. Okay, so
There you go.
my origin is genotype, and my
origin is genotype, and your clade is you can put infused, but the That's its nickname. Its technical name is Coactive.
Yeah, coactive. Yeah.
And then I threw up a screenshot of where that button is in the chat room in Discord.
All right.
The very sloppy circle.
Right. Okay.
Okay. And now we're about halfway through the session, which is the perfect time to take a break before we dive into the meat of divergences and scars, which is the good stuff. And forms for those of you that have forms. So,
Oh, go.
I want
Doggy.
forms.
for those watching,
Aw.
we will be back in 10 minutes at 10:37 p.m. Eastern Time. Don't go away. See you then.
See you soon. My light. There we go.
And we're back! We've returned to character creation. We've completed most of the prerequisites, and now we're moving on to the meaty bits of scars, deviations, and forms.
What?
So, Dwayne, why don't you tell us about, if you picked it yet, your free deviation, your scar-free 1 point, and if not, pick it now while I fix cameras real quick.
Yeah. What page are those on?
Excuse me. The actual list of variations. I'm getting you to the actual page.
San Francisco.
76. Nope, I lied. That's the description, not the list of powers. Farther down for the list of powers. Under the merits.
Universal variations is what we're looking for, right?
That is where it begins, correct?
Page 131.
Thank you.
Yeah, I wasn't even close.
This is your 1 point of scar-free variation, which is why we'll pick this first before we start talking about scars. Now remember, you all get either a overt or a subtle, depending on what you pick for your origin.
Yes, and I get to pick any variation, so it can be a universal or...
No, it means it can be overt or subtle.
Oh, okay, so not universal.
They're all... So, the...
Okay, I see.
Right, it's a subcategory. Yes, it could be universal. It could be...
So, like, aquatic is subtle.
Right. You basically, it needs to be from the universal list or from your clades list for the free one. Either
okay. Wow. There's a lot. Darn.
Darn?
Yeah. I found one that popped out to me immediately, but I know that someone has an aversion to this type of creature, so I will not choose it.
Ah, yes.
Something spidery.
How'd you guess?
Yeah.
Jane's got a phobia of those things too.
No, I hate them immensely.
I like them, which makes for a weird relationship.
I know you say that they're like nature's good boys and they help everything, but they could be a good boy out of my vision.
I remember once I saw this comic about like, what if like the spare change you find on your couch is the spiders paying rent?
It's just cute as hell.
Yeah, it's like, what if all the spare change you find on your couch is just the spiders paying rent? And the follow-up comic was like a spider paying a penny in your couch cushion saying, I ain't no freeloader. I think about that comic all the time.
They can pay their rent out of my line of sight.
That's the spare change in your couch that you mysteriously find.
Like, that's my rule for bugs. If I see you, I will kill you. But if I don't see you, then you're fine. Just keep doing your bug thing.
Can you imagine what it's like to be the bug seeing you? This massive, giant, earth-shattering thing that makes horrendous noise with one step.
Yeah.
Dwayne,
Ooh.
you're making an awesome Dwayne face.
Yeah. This one's interesting. Especially for like a mutant. So I'm gonna choose superhuman, and then I get to choose the attribute.
Yep.
So I'm gonna choose superhuman strength.
Okay.
Which means that I can deadlift, shove, or slowly pull objects whose size does not exceed 5 times my scar power, which it's not a scar. So how does that work? Is it still considered a scar power, but it's just not? It doesn't have a scar.
Right.
Okay.
That actually references that in the book, saying that if your variation is dependent on the scar, then it acts as if you had the scar without actually having to activate the scar.
Okay.
Which means you're still entangling it, you're just not suffering the side effect of the scar at the time. So you'll want to entangle it with one of your scars once you pick them. And you'll want to entangle it with the highest magnitude scar to get the most bonus out of it.
Right. Yeah, so my brawl weaponry gains armor piercing. I can ignore durability, and which pretty much means I can kick down doors or ram knives through armored plating.
Nice.
Oh my.
Okay. Jane, is yours subtle or overt?
I don't remember.
Well, let's find out.
My guess is subtle, but
Because
I'm not
yes, yours is subtle because you chose your path. Your body does not rebel. So, universal or clade? Probably clade if you're going to focus on the mind control. Most of that's in your clade.
Ooh,
There might be a couple in universal.
I found one of the ones that I did like the idea of, which is, if I can scroll back to it. It was back up in C-section. Oh no, the deadly volleyball of doom. My computer is trash, but it makes sense because it's like 5 years old. See, I got it sophomore year of
MacBook
high
Air.
school. Yeah, I'm now a sophomore in college. Harry helped me do math.
Been like what, 4 years, 5 years? Oh wait, yeah, like 4. Wait, so yeah, 4 years. Like 4 years.
Carapace.
Carapace, yeah.
Yes, thank you, Carapace.
Okay.
The deviant possesses a defensive shell or protective shield that protects them from harm.
Okay.
Just in case if the people I have around me fail me, I have means to protect myself. Because I am but a delicate maiden.
Exactly. Okay. Let's go ahead and put that at 1 dot under your deviations. Also, I recommend for your free deviation, you don't pick one you intend to take a higher dot level at, because then you're kind of wasting your free dot, since you're going to have to use the scar to activate it at a higher level.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to take this one to be my freebie, so I have protection. Okay, I think we put it in variations.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
And then JT.
Yeah, I'm trying to decide here because what you just said makes sense. Where if this is a free one, so maybe it makes sense to pick something kind of off the.
Something you don't want to.
Yeah, are we going to be able to later take over? Because I'm subtle, so will I later be able to take an overt?
Yes.
Okay.
This only applies to this specific thing where it has to be subtle in this case. Yeah.
Okay, then I think that just for this one, because I don't. Once per. The remade may remove a weapon, piece of equipment, or material of size 1 and availability no greater than half scar power rounded up. But we're ignoring scar power for
this
one, right?
Which means you'll still entangle it with a scar, but you won't have to activate the scar to use the power. So you can still entangle it with a really high level scar to make it more useful.
So I'm thinking hidden compartments because I don't really care about that one, but maybe having 1 point in that as a freebie seems like it'd be useful at some point for stealthing into somewhere with a gun or something. I don't know what size 1 is.
Handgun.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I believe handguns would fit in that. But what were you going to say?
Yeah, I was saying actually right here, the remade may remove a weapon, piece of equipment, or materials of size 1.
Yep.
So handgun's probably size 1. So I'll do that. Hidden compartments, 1 point in hidden compartments.
Okay. Zach.
So I'm still kind of looking through. So my free one is a ver, right?
Yep.
All right.
And also, Ray, you'll want yours will be subtle because you were born.
And it's the coactive variations?
Or a universal, either one. And you're going to want to pick one that you're going to have at a lower rank instead of one you're going to power up, because if you power this up later, it overrides the free use of it.
Alright. I'm going to choose... Bum, 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 bum. Okay. I think I have an... Alright, so I'm going to... go with... Lucky.
Okay.
Because, you know, like, I feel like, you know, she's probably needed quite a bit of luck to have been able to escape notice for as long as she's been able to.
Yes.
So, I feel like, you know, that's one that just makes sense for the idea I have for this character.
Okay. So you can put that at 1 dot on your deviation spot, and then that'll be the one you can activate without ever having to worry about scars. And then you can just interrupt me, Zach, once you've picked one. But while you guys look at your deviations, I'm going to talk about how variations... while you look at your variations, I'm going to talk about how variations and scars work. So, we keep saying variations, which are the superpowers, are entangled with the scars, which are the side effects that manifest on you for having them. What that means by entangled is divergence is ugly and broken and not natural when you become a deviant. It's an imperfect transformation, so every one of a remade is mutilated physically or spiritually by a scar, which any of your adaptations or mutations in the form of superpowers make the scars worse, make them stand out. So variations are powers or sets of powers that manifest whenever you turn them on, or sometimes even when you don't want to turn them on, but they can't be activated without the scar also being activated alongside the variation. The exception is the one we all just picked, your free 1 dot. That one you can manifest without scars. Scars or drawbacks or disadvantages that impede you or hinder your use of the variations. Not always a physical scar. So the dot rating of a scar or a variation is referred to as magnitude. 1 to 5. Obviously 1 is less intense, 5 is more intense. Most have a different level you can purchase them in with your dots. But some are set and can't be changed, much like Merits in Chronicles of Darkness. You always possess at least 1 scar and at least 1 variation. And every variation must be entangled with a scar. You may have several variations and several scars, but it's also possible to have several variations and only 1 or 2 scars. How you want to entangle them is up to you to decide. The exception, of course, is the scar-free dot of magnitude granted by the origin. Oh, I was wrong. What's wrong, JT? This may change what you do. I apologize. This gives you a free dot of magnitude scar free, meaning you could raise the magnitude of a variation you paid for without raising the magnitude of the scar it's connected to. So you could have a 4-dot variation tied to a 3-dot scar.
Definitely gonna drop.
So yeah, that'll definitely change JT's.
Oh, okay. And so where would I put my lucky?
That's a deviation. Or I'm sorry, that's a variation in the sheet in the middle under variations.
Okay, yeah, I saw variations, but I didn't see like deviations. That's why I was like, wait.
Yeah, I used the wrong word. They're variations. Yeah.
That's why I was confused because I saw that, but I was like,
Yeah, I'm actually going to change mine as well
Okay.
as I reread it.
Okay.
I'm going to make sure to put the summary of
Variations and scars have 3 ways they're activated. Controlled, meaning you decide when it happens. On or off, usually lasts for a scene, or until you decide to shut it off. Involuntary still work like controlled in that you can turn them on and off, but also sometimes they turn on when you don't want them to. And persistent, which is like a passive ability, always on. Some persistents have to be turned on and then just work while they're on. Some are never turned off. It's in the description for which. Questions on that part? Okay. Activation methods are always a dice roll, which means the scar defines the attribute used to determine your dice pool to turn on the connected variations. Your scars are divided into mental, physical, and a social, which are your attributes that we went over when you picked your dots for those. So the variation doesn't determine what turns it on or off. The scar does. So, in the descriptions of the scars, you're going to see scar power, scar finesse, or scar resistance. That's referring to power, finesse, or resistance attributes. That's what that means. So for existence, if you have enhanced speed combined with a physical scar, you could use strength as your scar power. So you'd be scar power to turn on that variation. Whereas if you have mind control and it's tied to a phobia scar, you'd have intelligence, for instance, as the scar power to activate the superpower. So if it says scar finesse, the roll is always the finesse attribute plus the magnitude of the variation plus your acclimation. Acclimation is how well you absorbed being what you are. Now we're going to stop there and mention this. You get 10 points to spend on merits at the end of the process, but you can also spend those points on acclimation. You all start with acclimation of 1. You can spend 5 of your free 10 points to take it to 2, or all 10 of your free points to take it to 3 and have no merits, which are like feats. So again, a scar roll is always going to be attribute plus magnitude of the variation plus acclimation. So at the base level, with the 3-dot variation and 3 dots in the attribute, you're going to have 7 dice for the pool to turn it on. Make sense?
Sure.
Yep. I also decided healer for
Ooh, I like it.
my overt.
Okay. I like it. And remember, I was wrong the first time. What that means is you get to increase the magnitude 1 dot beyond the scar you connected to for free.
all right.
Yeah.
By the way, overt and subtle, well, we'll get to that in a second. I won't confuse you early. What were you going to say, Ray?
What page is scars on?
So
I'm currently looking for that.
Starts on 188.
yes.
Thank you.
Um,
Have it. And it is.
Now, having said that, obviously what that means is the magnitude of the variation cannot exceed the magnitude of the scar you entangle it with, except for that 1 dot you just added.
Makes sense.
However, one scar can be entangled with multiple variations, as long as the magnitude of the scar is higher than the highest dot level variation attached. So if you're going to have more than one superpower attached to one scar, the scar has to be 1 point higher than the most powerful superpower in the list you attach to that scar. If you only have one superpower attached to the scar, they can be equal number of dots. That's the price you pay for having less scars. Also, the number of variations you connect to a single scar cannot exceed 1 plus the difference between the scar's magnitude and the highest rated variation's magnitude. So if it's a 3-dot scar and you connect a 1-dot power and a 2-dot power, that's all you get. If it's a 4-dot scar and you connect a 1-dot power and a 2-dot power, you can connect another 1-dot power. So again, because that's a little confusing, if you have more than one variation attached to a scar, the scar must be at least 1 point higher than the highest power variation, and you can only connect a number of variations to that scar equal to the difference between the scar level and the highest superpower level. Math.
This is pretty crunchy.
Yeah, this part is crunchy. That's why I saved it for the end.
Yeah, I'm still not finding the scars.
There's a handy chart. I'm going to throw it in Discord because this is a manuscript. It's not fully a chart yet, but it still kind of works as a chart.
It's a chart.
So that shows you how you can connect variations to scars. The scar magnitude is at the top, and the variations are at the bottom going to the right. That might help a little. Visualize it in your mind. Okay, scars begin on page 189. Dwayne said 188, it's close enough. And there's different categories of scars. But for instance, you notice on page 189, concentration, that's a scar. The power doesn't work unless you use intense concentration. And distracting you doesn't just make the power fail, it might make it go out of control. So like pyrokinesis attached to concentration, you get hit in the back of the head, you might set everyone in the room on fire. That's a scar, because you have to concentrate on it. So cooldown is a scar, meaning it overheats, and you have to give it time to cool off before you can use it again, or you hurt yourself. So anything in those lists, those are the scars. Now, I'll go back up and go over how you get to pick those, and etc. I get back to where I was. One moment. Okay. To pick your variations, you begin with 10 points of variations, which you can spend either on magnitude or multiple variations. It's up to you. It's 10 points total. Multiple powers or a few powers at higher levels, whatever. You can go all the way to 5 if you want. You can have like 2 powers at level 5 and nothing else if that's how you want to do it. The catch is, at least half of your points must be assigned to clade or universal variations. If you see a cool power from a different clade than yours, you can use your points, but only 5 of them to do that. So,
can I take a moment to talk through what I'm thinking with you, or you were about to say something?
I'm double checking to read how. Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I really like integrate technology,
Mm-hmm.
which allows me to basically become technology, especially at 5, which I'm or 5. It's 4 lets me become something, and then the 5th magnitude would be a battery, so I can do something. So I really like dumping 5 points into that.
Right.
And then because I get a free one, I would dump 4 points into it. I get the free one, or I don't, or it's not really.
You get the free order of magnitude, right? So
Right,
you would
so
spend
then
4 of your 10 points, and then you could take it to 5 for free. You are correct. If
And then
it's subtle or overt, whichever matches you.
oh,
That's the catch.
So
is the subtle
that's
overt
overt.
bit.
okay. So I have to. So for this one, I have to spend 5 because it's not subtle.
Right.
Okay. So I'd spend my 5 points on integrate technology, and then that means I also have to spend the equal amount of scar points. That's what I don't understand. How that.
So, scars are developed either at creation, at which point you do in fact have a number of scar points equal to the number of points you spend on your. I said deviation again. Stop that, Tyler. Variation. You have a number of initial scar points equal to the number of variations you have.
Okay.
However, during play, when you roll dice to activate a variation, if you critically fail, you get what do they call that? You get a
P?
what was that?
XP?
You do get beats, yes, that's correct.
XP.
But you also
XP.
they're called beats in Chronicles of Darkness, yeah. We'll get to that too. But you also get instability. Instability gives you new scars or increases the magnitude of existing scars as your body breaks down because it's doing things it shouldn't be doing.
I think I understand.
Yeah. So
Okay,
at start, and the reason you don't see anything about how many points you get at start is your beginning magnitude equals your scar magnitude at the beginning. +1.
Gotcha. Okay.
But as the game goes along, your scars are going to increase whether you want them to or not. Which means you'll be able to buy new variations with XP without buying new scars. Unless you want to buy new scars. You can have more scars than variations all day. You can't have more variations than scars. Patty Shakes in the audience. Yes, this game is very much X-Men. There's a little very X-Men feel to this. Also, Orphan Black. Alice from the Resident Evil movies. But yeah, Weapon X, Wolverine, Wanda, and Petrov from the movies. Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver from the movies are very much deviants. Yeah. Lizard is a deviant. He did it to himself. He is his own progenitor. And I'm going to go over some keywords because you'll see them and they'll be less confusing while you continue looking. Directed means the variation targets something other than you. You direct the target. Discreet means you can use it without alerting all the people after you that you did a thing. Overt means it's obvious it happened, people notice. Perpetual means it's always on and doesn't have to be activated. Reflexive means you can activate it reflexively instead of as an instant action. Most variations take an instant action, like your action on your turn to turn on. The reflexive ones are free. Subtle means easy to conceal. Conspiracies don't notice you're using it. And toggled means it's persistent, but you have to turn it on and off. While it's on, it's just always on. Whereas other powers you turn on and off will end it in the scene ends, or when you turn it off, whatever comes first. Another thing you should know about scars is once per scene, per scar, if your scar causes you or anyone else in the party significant harm or setbacks, you get a beat. Now, World of Darkness just gives XP. Chronicles of Darkness gives beats, which buy XP. Every 5 beats is 1 XP. That's why you'll notice it's a lot cheaper to buy things in Chronicle of Darkness than World, because you gotta work harder for the XP. So, you get a beat for showing up and playing the session. You get bonus beats when we do our end of session voting, which we'll talk about at the end. You get beats whenever you turn a regular failure into a critical failure, and basically anytime the game makes something hard for you, you get a beat.
Taking that.
I think that would be what I want.
So at this point,
Like-
you got to start looking through the list and pick your scars and your variations.
On this scar.
You will definitely see scars, Ray, yes, that fit you more than others, for sure.
Yeah. I like it a lot. And would you want me to message you like my idea of like what would set it off later, Tyler?
Yeah, we'll go over scars and variations you're okay with everyone knowing live, and then ones you don't want everyone knowing, yeah, we'll do offline.
Okay.
Absolutely. It's true for all of you. If you have a scar variation you don't think you want the whole party to know, we can discuss it offline, which might happen.
Ba-boom, ba-boom.
It also means you are not required to complete all of your scars and variations in the next 50 minutes. If you got until next week to look the list, because this is an important part of the process.
So if something's persistent, it's always on.
Yep.
So it does. So how does that work with like a variation? It has to have a scar that's always on, then, or
So a variation that hold on, I gotta think for that. Read it to you rather than try to put my own spin on it.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So if the thing comes up in the scene directly, if the variation comes up in the scene directly somehow, like you have a persistent resistance to being shot and I shoot you a whole bunch in that scene, your scar is going to activate on its own, and you're going to roll scar resistance plus acclimation minus your current instability penalty as a dice pool. That's how that works on persistent ones. Same for toggled. However, yeah, most of the time it just works. The only time I'm going to make you roll for your scar to activate is when it's really, really, really intensely hammered on for some reason. So like if it's wings, you're not going to have to roll scar resistance every turn you flap your wings. But if like you're flying in combat, I'm probably going to make you roll once in that scene. Does that make sense?
yeah. So I was specifically looking at Predator's Cunning.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking about that one as a Chimera Scar variation.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so like I would make you roll for scar activation if your Predator's Cunning caused a high stress moment in that case. If you're just using it to sense something, you're probably not going to have to worry about it. But if like success or failure hinges on a big moment, then yeah, I'm going to make your scar roll. So in other words, high stress is the key there. Also note some of those scars have deviations, the proper use of the word in the game. That modifies the variation or the scar in a specific way. A deviation adds its rating to the variation or scar's magnitude when it comes to entanglement. Meaning, the variation or scar functions at the normal magnitude, but the deviation effect increases the magnitude for the purposes of entanglement. So if you have a rank 3 superpower and you want to use the cool deviation it has, you have to use a rank 4 scar to entangle it with. Even though it's still only a rank 3 power, to get that cool deviation to work, you need a higher level scar. So if you those deviations, you don't have to use them, but if you choose to, remember it increases the magnitude of scar needed to use them.
Yes.
And conversely, scar deviations increase the magnitude of the scar.
Yeah, because I gave my character an insistent. And I'm really debating making it a 2 dot. So,
More power is better, right?
because
At the cost of diversity.
well, I haven't. It's just like I feel like there is going to be a scar that has a very specific trigger, like a variation that's a very specific trigger, and I'm trying to figure out. I'm looking at it. I'm trying to think like what really speaks to me.
Now, the reason I bring up the deviations too is like, at one point or another, every single one of you is going to discover Lash under universal variations. Every single one of those cool powers, caustic, channel, blasting, conjure, deadly, every one of those is a deviation. Meaning every one you buy increases the magnitude by 1. So Lash by itself, is magnitude 1 power with a damage rating of 0 and deals damage as part of an attack. And you get 1 free effect at that break.
Hey.
So like you could have blasting and have a little tiny fireball. Which then I'm going to have you roll a skill. I'm going to have you roll like athletics plus dex to aim or something, and then that dice pool will determine the damage. I mean, whether or not you hit. However, if you want to buy more of those deviations or increase the damage automatically, then you got to increase the magnitude. So a magnitude 5 Lash can do a lot of shit.
So some of these have included with them like at the end on the variation, it'll say that there is some list like a essentially a scar, what appears to be a scar that goes along with it for certain clades. So
yes, clade powers that does happen. Yes.
So does that automatically assign that scar by taking that variation, or is that in addition to the scars that you would already take?
Automatically assigned. You don't have to purchase more in that case. The ones that are purchasable, you can basically think of as like universal. Like concentration can be universal, but like the specific ones only apply to that power generally. And then also at the end, you'll see they have some of them in. Are you talking? You're not talking about the stuff that's in italics, are you?
No, that I am, yeah.
Oh,
So
no, those are
I took
different.
healer.
Those are examples that you can use because all of those scars are pickable. So that's the book going, hey, you could do it this way, here's a cool idea.
Okay, so they're sample
Yep.
scars and not
Right.
tied to that. Okay.
Right.
Can I chat for a second? I'm
Yep.
picking dependency as one of my scars.
Yep.
And I want to use rare, so I'm trying to think of something that's rare. At first I was thinking some kind of illicit drug, but now I'm thinking something more maybe more creative, like some kind of energy source that allows me to be that battery, that allows me to be that walking computer that maybe only this shadowy organization has access to, or something like that. And I don't know how far off the beaten track I can go with like calling it dark matter, or I don't know. I kind of want to dump a lot into that and make that a central character point.
Remind me during the week. By then I'll have the name of the story is going to have a central substance. We'll make it that.
Okay. Cool.
Basically, without too many spoilers, you're all going to wake up having been kidnapped by an even bigger conspiracy than your individual ones, and you're going to have to escape. So it needs to be something that's available during the escape to you, which there will be, because it's this game's equivalent of the T-virus.
Okay. Cool. And I will dump 4 points into that. So that means I get 3 of the 4 things when I don't have it, 3 of the 4 negative modifiers, and then the 5th point comes from rare. Would it be rare in this case, or should I not take that?
Yeah, that would definitely be rare.
Okay. And then I got 5 points, so that means I currently have 8 points in scars between my alternate persona, which is the AI. Prone to blackouts makes that 3. Dependency is 5. That makes total 8. And I currently have 6 variations plus my free one, so I still have some points left to play with. But
Yes.
I don't know if we want to try moving this along and finishing that during the week.
Yeah. I'm assuming most of you will still be picking variations after we stop, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
While you guys look though, I'm gonna move on to Harry, because Harry's got something very different than you guys. Because Harry gets no
Okay.
variations.
All right.
Normally, like I said, you guys get 10 points of merits, or you can use those points to increase your acclamation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you, as the extremely super skilled human, get the XP equivalent in merits that they get for their 10 points of variations, meaning you need to spend 50 points of merits.
Holy shit.
So, to start off with, I'm going to give you the 2 special style merits. Style merits mean it's like a whole category. The more it has a rank of 1 to 5. At each dot level, it increases what you get from it. These are specific to this game. First one is Arachi Special Tactics Unit Training. Arachi is the name of the super evil organization in this case.
Yep, got it.
You are a lieutenant rank in the Arachi organization. This is what you get simply for having 1 dot in it, which will be required. Meaning you have security clearance Gamma. You can add your rank in the merit as a bonus to intimidation rolls against lower ranking Arachi employees.
And can I upgrade that thing with my merit points?
All the way to 5 if you want, yeah.
Got it.
At rank 1, you get merit bonus as merit dots as a bonus dice to intimidation rolls against lower ranked employees, and you have 9 again on firearms, brawl, and weaponry attacks. At all times.
Mm-hmm.
At 2 dots, you get a free dot each of allies and contacts within the company, probably fellow squad members. I'm going to paste this in a minute too, but I'm reading it so the audience can hear. At 3 dots, you get an extra point of lethal damage with all firearms, brawl, and weaponry attacks. Automatically. At 4 dots, you get a free specialty in investigation deviance. And at 5 dots, you can coordinate teamwork on attacks with other Arachi trained soldiers, meaning if other Arachi trained soldiers were with you and helping you for some reason, you can coordinate attacks and get bonuses to everyone who's doing the attack.
All right. I think I'm going to pump 5 into that one.
I would. There you go. I put that one in the chat. The next
Okay.
one is Arachi Advanced Tactical Training. Again, 1 to 5. 1 dot, free specialty in either occult or investigation, Arachi experiments. 2 dots, free point in the weaponry skill. 3 dots, get the Eye for the Strange merit for free, which we'll get to in a minute. 4 dots, get the Body as a weapon merit for free. And at 5 dots, +2 to all initiative rolls, fast reflexes. So yeah, you could do all 5 in that too and have 40 points left if you wanted.
Yeah, I think I'm probably going to do that. That, again, seems very fucking good.
Yes. Those last 3 ranks are 2 point each merits. You'd have to pay 6 points to get those 3 points worth if you bought them separately.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, let me get back to the Codex of Darkness. I'm going to drop you 2 links to the merit lists humans can
Perfect.
get.
Thank you very much.
The universal list, and then specialized style merits. The free merits, Eye for the Strange and Body as a Weapon, are in the universal list. So you just need 40 more points from any of those.
All right.
You could also take one of the fighting styles and change it to your martial arts style you chose. So, like,
Okay.
if it says something else, like, Muay, you could call it your style instead. I don't care.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
And for the rest of you, there is actually a list of the universal merits I just posted. You guys can take too. But you also have a list of deviant-specific merits in the book you can take. If you don't pour all your points into acclamation.
Wait, you keep saying acclamation. Am I getting something?
Acclamation's under loyalty. Conviction, loyalty, acclamation.
Oh, okay.
Starts at 1. You get 5 of your free points to raise it to 2, or all 10 of your free points to raise it to 3. Whenever you activate a superpower, it's superpower magnitude plus attribute plus acclamation for your dice pool.
Okay.
And then
So, what is like the loyalty?
loyalty. So, all right, you weren't here for that. You start with 3 points of conviction and 1 point in loyalty, and then your origin determines the free point you get. In your case, it's loyalty. You have 2 points in loyalty. Conviction is how mad you are at the people that transformed you, and loyalty is how loyal you are to the people that transformed you. In your case, you're born that way, so you have 2 points of loyalty because it's your family. Those come up when we get to touchstones, which we're going to do in a minute. And we'll give you 1 more minute to look at deviations, and then we're going to move on to merits, and you can finish your deviations during the week. And we'll tell everyone what you picked when we start next week. I can get to where the merits are. Merits begin on page 107. You have 10 points to spend on these, unless, like I keep saying, you want to raise your acclamation for extra superpower dice. You can use anything in the universal list I linked, or anything starting on page 107. The number of dots is how many points it costs. You're going to have a hard time picking, because some of these are really cool. So again, these, by next Friday, same for Harry, you don't got to spend them all in the next 20 minutes, especially Harry with his 1,000,000 points.
Yep.
Now what you do need to do this session, though, is touchstones. You have a number of touchstones equal to your conviction and loyalty for you guys. For Harry, there's not a spot for this on your sheet, but you have a humanity rating, basically, like in Vampire. Or, what's it called in Changeling? What's your morality called in Changeling?
You're weird, or your glamour?
Stability. Yes, thank you. The stability one, that's the one I'm after. But yeah, it's equivalent to that, and it starts at 7 points. At 7 points, you have 3 touchstones. 1 at your 7th point, 1 at your 6th point, 1 at your 5th point, which means if you lose a rank in morality, you lose the touchstone. So for you, Harry, touchstones are friends and family, close pets. Very rarely, almost never things. Usually people or floofies.
Yeah.
Fur babies. For you guys, loyalty touchstones are people you care about. Conviction touchstones are people whose ass you want to kick and murder.
Oh, great.
Okay, conviction, we want to kick ass. Loyalty, we care
You
about.
care about, yeah. There's examples of them. I'll get you the page in the book.
All right.
Yours also don't have to be specific people. Like Harry has to tell me, my brother. You guys can pick like that one guy that I really hate that made me the way I am without being super specific. Did I put that in here? Did not get the page number.
By it.
Get you the page number. Hold on.
So hard to think of people who I want to kill.
That's why I want to get you the examples because they're very helpful in this case, this game. Okay. Nope, not quite there yet. Almost.
Grant, do I know how to spell your name? Still stands.
Sample touchstones, page 91. So under loyalty for existence, the first one is the childhood friend. The second one is the coworker. And then for conviction, the first one is the company man and the cultist. In other words, all I need tonight is what you want it to be, and then you can spend the week developing who it is. And either the real person or someone you think is the real person will show up in the story for you to either hug or shoot in the face. So I'm going to start with Dwayne. Page 91. Pick me three. How much conviction do you have?
4.
Pick me 4 convictions, sir.
All right, so definitely gonna go with the progenitor.
Okay.
Uh,
For those watching, that's the person who made him the way he is.
the recruiter.
Yep. Okay.
Or the person who talked me into it.
Yep.
Ugh. The operating theater.
Okay. You can double up too, I don't mind. As long as they're independent, separate people. Or very rarely things. Like I'd allow JT to have an AI, for instance, if that was somehow his archenemy is a thing.
Yeah, that actually was what I was thinking. Can the AI that's in my head, that's my alternate pronosa, be also my conviction, and everything I'm doing is trying to get this AI ripped out of my body?
That could be one of them, but not all of them, yes. Which
Correct,
would be, yeah.
One. Okay.
Yep. What's the last one? You can also make up your own. You're not limited to these 5 or 6. These are just really good examples for this game.
I guess I'll go with the company man as well.
Okay. Jane, how many convictions you got to pick?
I only have to pick 3.
Okay.
What page? I was still picking my merits.
Oh, sorry. 91.
91. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
There it is.
For tonight, like I told Dwayne, just general category, you can spend the next week fleshing out a name and a basic story for me.
Likely
And you can double up.
All right. So let's see. She wanted this, so perhaps what would fit like people in your past who ridiculed you?
For those, we can actually just make that up. These are only examples. So yes, you could put down all three of them could be separate people who, in order for them to be part of your conviction, they have to be tied to why you're not so happy you changed now. Whatever it is that made you change your mind that this was a great thing. Maybe they're better than you at it. Maybe they got you kicked out of something because you were inferior. They made you lose your temper somehow. They exposed or outed you. Stole something from you that made you lose face.
Alright, I like the exposed/outed, because she probably wouldn't want people to know that she's a freak mutant.
Right.
Just think, one day, just total 180.
Yeah, never good in this game for people to know what you are, yes.
Yeah. So, probably one who outed her. And then...
You can even think of it in the sense of the X-Men. Maybe you were part of the enemy organization, but they were so evil. They forced you out. They double-crossed you.
Ooh. Oh, shoot. There's always... Is that Emma Frost? I think Emma Frost and Mystique are oftentimes...
They're the double-crossers, yes.
Yes, they get double-crossed.
A lot.
And then... Ooh, a fun one would be an X.
Okay. So the double-crosser, or the X, and the one who outed you. Alright. Zach, how many convictions for you?
4.
And what do you want them to be?
Alright. So the background of a reformed biker, he has at some point became joined up with BACA, Bikers Against Child Abuse,
Okay.
as far as rebuilding his humanity. Representative Mick Connor is the city councilman, now state representative, who had passed laws that were against that worked against the organization. Officer Thomason is an arresting officer who forged documents to get him put in jail on a 3rd strike. Warden Hawthorne is the warden at the private prison that the conspiracy that eventually turned him was part of. And Christopher Cross is the inmate who arranged the ambush that led to him being taken to the facility.
That's a nice twist on the Luke Cage story. I like it. Good chain, too, all the way down the line.
It's funny how my character goes by.
And you're next, Ray. Well, how many convictions? You have 3. So what do you want your 3 enemies to be?
My uncle.
Okay.
Who he was the one who made it possible for the genetic heritage to be revealed.
Okay.
Hoping, and because in his head, that meant he loved me better than his kids.
Right.
Because someone had to be the host, and being chosen as the host meant that I was the favorite. And my other one is my cousin, who is pissed that he wasn't chosen.
And the last one?
There was an ex-girlfriend. She wasn't, to put it nicely, she wasn't the best partner.
Okay. Out of curiosity, how does your energy manifest? Is it a culty? Is it like soul sucking or angel light or? Okay.
Kind of angel lighty, cult-ish, culty-ish.
Okay.
You know. Pretty.
So for your uncle, it's almost a religious deal, probably.
Yeah, he's like, I chose you to be the one.
And you won't do it, right?
And it's like, and the fact that her powers are more like angelic, like for her is like, it didn't work the way you wanted it to.
And JT, how many convictions for you?
I have 3 convictions, and it's going to be sort of the operating theater, which is just the amalgamation of doctors and whatever that did all this. The AI that's been implanted in my head, who's going to have a distinct personality and name, yet to be decided. And then the snitch is going to be the other member of the hacking group that I was a part of that basically got me caught when this person flipped in order to receive a lesser sentence.
Perfect. And in reverse order, which means starting with JT, who's your one loyalty? Or you 2 loyalties, sorry.
I have 2, I have 2 loyalties, and that's going to be a childhood friend to be decided and an ex-lover to be decided.
Okay. And Ray, you have 2 loyalties.
My 2 loyalties, one of them is
the older brother of my childhood best friend. His name is, the older brother's name is Grant Gilmore. Because I was looking at like the like the ex-lover, like it was like just like part of it is he helped you through your diversions. He tells it like it is, whether you want to hear it or not, and it's exactly what you need from him. Like Grant has always been kind of like an older brother to Luke. He loves her, he supports her, and he's not going to take her bullshit. You know, he's going to be honest with her. And her other loyalty is to her older sister, who they weren't able to grow up together when their parents died. She went to go live with her mom's family, and it's only been in recent years that since they've become adults, they've been able to have a relationship.
Okay. I like it. Zach.
Cordelia Callahan, who is one of the children that he protected when he was doing the Baka thing before going to jail. And she would be, she was thankful and wrote him throughout his time there.
Perfect. And Jane.
I'm taking the childhood friend, the mentee, and the research assistant. The childhood friend was someone in her past life who accepted her for who she was and was like, you're okay, you shouldn't change yourself, you'll find happiness with who you are. And then the mentee is the person at the conspiracy, the person at the conspiracy who taught her how to be what she is now. And then the research assistant was someone who she appreciated their normalcy. You know, he had a routine, just like a respect for the mundane, and kind of like a tinge of regret, like, oh, I've changed and I can't have that. Thus, I want to protect a person like him, not have this affect him more than it already is.
The only thing that melts your ice heart. Yep.
Yep.
And Dwayne.
Yeah. Sorry, I was reading.
Loyalties.
I have a 1 in loyalty. I already know who it's going to be. It is going to be my current girlfriend of Eden Perez. She is a receptionist at the hospital that I was at.
Okay. I like it. And you don't have to list them all yet. We'll do that next week. But are any of you blowing most or all of your points in acclamation, or are you all going for merits?
It was 5 points to raise 1 acclamation, right?
Yep.
I am going to raise 1.
Okay.
I spent all my points in merits.
Okay.
I have a chimera and a retainer.
I approve. No wrong answer here. Zach?
I still want to look over the merits more before I make a decision.
Yeah, there's a lot
on that, and maybe get a better idea of what exactly how acclamation really works over this.
Mostly a dice pool. It adds dice to your activation rolls. It has some other minor effects, but that's the majority of it.
Okay. And where would acclamation be on the
it's under loyalty. Starts at 1 for free.
And so, like, acclamation. So I would have 1 acclamation, 2 loyalty, and how?
Acclamation is in the same spot, but it's not the same thing. Acclamation is how easy it is for you to use your powers without them backfiring. It increases your dice pool to activate superpowers, meaning a lower chance of bad side effects. It also has some other effects, like when you have a crisis, it kicks in. Or if, like, a progenitor has a way to force you to transform, you can resist with it. It does a couple other things.
And how many points do we have for merits?
10, and it's 5 per dot if you do acclamation. Merits cost the value of the dots listed.
Okay.
And you can decide during the week, like Zach, if you're not ready. And JT.
I think I'm gonna do 1 extra acclamation, but I want to, like the others, I want to read the merits during the week and I get a better handle on that. But my initial thought is to take 5 points and go
okay.
Acclimate.
And then also for next week, how you look, like how Cyborg JT looks, for instance, or how glowy Ray might be in normal circumstances. Does Jane have a big vein that pulls your head? Anything you want. Especially the more overt powers you have, the weirder you look, usually, in this game.
I finished my merits.
Holy cow, look at you.
And oh boy, I pray to God for mercy for whoever comes to fight us, because there are some merits that are frighteningly good when combined with one another. Some of my things allow me to confer my merits onto you guys, which is so stupid. I love it.
This game easily lets you create somewhere between John Wick and what was his name from The Equalizer? With a little bit of James Bond.
Yeah, no, like this is like looking over my things. Combat's gonna be fun.
Oh, that's good. I made my character a total glass cannon. I have hemophilia and thin skin as a flaw. I'm sorry.
Your hemophilia?
Yeah.
If I put 5 points into
I love it.
into allies, what would that get me in terms of squad?
A small fire team.
That's what I was hoping is some kind of fire team or something.
It would mean
1 or 2 buddies.
Yes, it would mean that you would have a squad that probably get chewed up slowly but surely. But meat shields are meat shields, right?
Yeah, meat shields are meat shields.
They have their uses.
You say they're gonna get chewed up, but I have merits that help squads really well.
Yes.
Please do not eat my chimera. I put 4 points into him, and I plan on making him a precious giant baby.
And, like, okay, what
Okay, so for my own reference back later, so I can know where to look for it. And I can make notes of it now. The variations is on page 131.
Yes. Scars kick in at 189.
Okay.
And what did I say the merits were? Does anyone remember?
Variations.
Uh,
Page
107.
Page 1.
10. Yep, merits are on 107. Well done, Dwayne.
I would like to double check that I did the variations and scars correctly.
Yeah, I'm going to go over that with all of you individually during the week. Basically, I'm going to have you ping me once you think you're done completely, and we'll go over it and make sure everything worked out right.
Okay, good.
Wait, Scars is page what?
189 is where it starts.
189. And merits.
131.
No, that was variations.
107.
107, sorry.
Okay. Now I can like have a list of like
Where to go, yep.
where to go later, so I'm not like
Well, I know what
I know
I'm
exactly
going to be drawing
when I
tomorrow.
go to it. I made a checklist on my phone.
Oh, a question.
Mm-hmm.
Do we wear normal clothes or like...
It'd be up to you entirely. Like, if you want a suit, you can have a suit.
I don't think my character would have a suit, but
Most of you probably wouldn't,
Howard
because this
Stewart.
is a game where you don't really want to be known as a freak, because that's what they will call you and hunt you down, even though you're not freaks. They're going to label you as that.
Is there still a pandemic going on in the game?
COVID will not be referenced, but there will be a disease happening, yes, completely unrelated.
Right. Yeah, because, yeah.
But no, it will not mirror the real world at all. It'll be its own little dark world.
The only reason I ask is because, like, the mask makes it very easy to disguise your face if people are looking for you.
Oh, well. You have much bigger problems than a mask.
No, it's just like you can't see my face, so you can't know I'm not the person you're looking for.
It's not so much hiding the person that you're looking for, it's hiding the fact that you have a giant
tentacle,
or that you have an extra arm.
My powers are all subtle. I can make a person break down in tears without being detected.
I'm very lucky, and I can hear people coming my way.
Other things that happen at the end of character creation are size, speed, defense, and initiative. You'll notice this sheet does that for you because my brother's awesome. It's under acclamation. Those of you that have the initiative bonus, like Harry, you'll have to add that in. I'll fix your sheet. However, there are a couple of things it doesn't determine. Willpower is equal to resolve plus composure. Click the bubbles, not the checkboxes. The checkboxes are for when you spend it. So you should have a number of willpower bubbles filled in equal to resolve plus composure.
Cool. I love having 3 willpower.
Not as big numbers in this game as it is in World of Darkness.
Oh. My World of Darkness character, her result is like she has 3 willpower.
That's pretty common in Chronicles of Darkness.
I played a really mean Premier and then a John Wick gangrel, so both of them have very high willpower.
I'm getting willpower because a lot of my abilities rely on willpower.
Yeah, you're going to burn through it like it's cash money, Harry. Yep. And then last but not least, your health is equal to your size, which is 5 for all of you, unless you have a variation that changes that, plus your stamina. So, health, fill in the bubbles. The boxes. So, the reason there's so many boxes under the bubbles is the top row is for bashing damage, the middle row is for lethal, and the bottom is for aggravated. Those of you that have played World of Darkness, you'll understand that. It's the same thing. For those of you that haven't, most damage is either bashing or lethal to start with. Getting shot's lethal, getting punched is bashing. If you fill in all your health bubbles with bashing, they roll over and become lethal and you start dying. If you fill in all your lethal, you die. Aggravated is real bad things like burns or supernatural powers.
Is 7 a good HP amount to have?
Yeah.
That's how much I have.
Seven's straight up average in Chronicles, so you're good.
Okay, that's good, because I am
8.
very glass cannon.
Well,
As all psychics are.
The lowest you can have is 6.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So,
Lieutenant Dan.
Yes. I was gonna name him something ridiculous, but I decided to go with something a little bit more. Well, I might still name him something ridiculous.
Give me the ridiculous
I got Robert
last name.
Canmore.
What were you trying to ask, Ray?
Okay, so willpower is resolve plus composure.
Yep. And health is 5 plus stamina.
Cool.
Yep. Everything else is filled out by the sheet. You don't got to do math.
8 and 6.
I love not having to do math.
Yes.
Because I don't
That's why we love my brother.
math fundamentals.
Math is dumb. Sorry for those of you that love it.
What should I go with a name?
So, oh yes, and names by next week too, along with appearances. But for now, for the audience, that is all the divergence these renegades can handle for a week. But have no fear, next week we'll begin our story at our new time slot of 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Every Saturday. As for other terrifying tales you can watch on Vorpal Tales, check out The Lurking Silence on Sundays, and our Tale of Terror and Damnation. Scion 2E Masks of the Mythos on Tuesdays, now in Kickstarter. Go check it out. It's pretty awesome if you're into the Mythos. And on Kimchi's Grimdark Chronicles on Thursdays, Strange Aeons in Grim Hollow. For those of you who want to try a little something that isn't horrible and scary, try Cyberpunk Red in the Image of Man Made on Mondays. Infinity the RPG, Outer Worlds, Inner Demons on Wednesdays. And on Fridays, Scarred Lands, Dragon Genesis. Next month, check out Maids of the Ascension 20th Anniversary on Sundays and Werewolf the Apocalypse 20th Anniversary on Thursdays. Check out our calendar for all the info, which you can find at WorpleTales.com, or you can get our calendar, our Discord link to hang out, our social media links, YouTube for all our past shows, and our Patreon, if so inclined. Renegades, let the viewers know, in the normal order from the beginning, the next show they can catch you in, and other things outside Vorpal Tales you do that they can come watch.
Yes, so I am Dwayne. You guys can always find me on the internet at Made of Kimchi all over the interwebs. The next time you will see me is... Wow, I'm not used to playing on Sundays or Saturdays. Next time you'll see me is Tuesday for
Mythos.
Scion. Yeah.
All right, I'm JT. You can find me around the web as at Zensomancer, and you can find me on Vorpal Tales next Wednesday night for Infinity.
Hello, I am Jane, the Confused Crow, on Twitter. I'm currently taking commissions, and you can also find me on Wednesdays here for Infinity.
You can find me here. This is basically where I'm at. I also have a podcast currently on hiatus, Falcon Reach Fables, where me and my friend Kai has been playing Dragon Quest for... No, Quest. I'm an idiot. Has been playing like the game for like years, and I've never played it, and so I'm just like reacting the entire time. And we named our main character Tyra Dragon Boy, and we gave her like bright green skin. Them bright green skin. I'm an idiot. But yeah, that's it. Me.
I'm Zachary. You can find me here And you can find me also here, because this is the only game I'm playing in that is being streamed at the moment. On Twitter, Discord, on Twitch as Zach Rules. You can find me on Drive Through RPG and Storyteller's Vault as Zachary Naldrett.
Check the books out; they're pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. Me. I forgot about me. You can find me at Harry_Wyckoff on Twitter. You can find me on YouTube as the Salubri Cat. If you look up Salubri Cat on Twitter, you'll find me as well. I have the Saratoga By Night podcast. Tune into that. That's fun. It's on hiatus now, but not for long. Vampire the Masquerade actual plays in Saratoga Springs. A lot of fun. You'll enjoy it. You can find me on twitch.tv/the Onyx Path from 9:30 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursdays. And you can find me on Vorpal Tales now, a bunch of places. I can't remember all of them because there's a lot.
Areas everywhere.
I am everywhere. You can't. If you are moving anywhere in the World of Darkness community, you're gonna bump into me somewhere. That's my goal. I'm just like that weird rock that you keep bumping into when you're whitewater rafting. I don't know. That's a weird metaphor. It's a terrible metaphor. What am I doing?
We followed. It's fine.
I was a radio host for 4 years. How am I that bad at coming up with fucking metaphors on the fly?
You do have a good radio voice. It explains that.
COVID brain.
So, for the audience and for the cast who's new here, this is when we do our voting for the Ride or Die viewers. We won't do it tonight, but we're still going to explain the process. The audience can vote for any of you players for any reason. They can give you one vote per person. If they choose to give you a vote, you get a +2 bonus die to any variation activation roll before the story ends. So you'll need to track that. And then, we also have all of you vote for each other for any reason. You all get one vote each, or rarely I'll let you split, normally one vote each. Doesn't matter why. It could be anything from you had an awesome roleplay moment to I really like your costume tonight to you didn't get any votes, I feel bad for you. Doesn't matter. In this particular game, you voting for each other is worth the player's choice of 1 free use of willpower, which is 3 bonus dice to any roll, or 4 beats. Remember, 5 beats equals an experience. So, last for tonight though, you do still get 2 beats for showing up. And for the audience, we're doubling beats because it's a shorter story, not a full chronicle. And you get 2 beats for coming up with awesome characters. You have 4 beats. And to the audience, we will now leave this world of deviance and return you to the well-lit path you were on when you were snatched away to come watch our world. Until next week, but we know we'll see you again along the way, because there are many worlds, but only one Onyx path. Good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye, people.